How many people know they are picky when it comes to relationships? Do you have a type? Are you obsessed with a certain thing about a person? Tell me in the comments below if you're picky when it comes to relationships and what you struggle with. And also stick around because this video is about what will happen if you remain too picky in your relationships. Let's talk love. Greetings, Inspiry fam, and welcome back to Love Inspiry YouTube. Thanks for sticking it out with me. My name is Angie. I'm the founder of Love Inspiry LLC, where our mission is to build more powerful, more transparent, and more durable relationships. And we do that by helping couples overcome their relationship adversity, as well as preparing individuals to enter healthy relationships. And part of having a healthy relationship is opening the conversation, the dialogue, helping you understand that in today's topic, being too picky will have you single for the rest of your life. Today, we are going to discuss what is too picky, why people are too picky, and what will happen. 10 things that will happen to you if you remain picky when it comes to choosing a man or a woman. Too picky is when it's everybody but you. You know, you ever be in a relationship with somebody or relationships and you find something wrong with every person that you're with is something wrong, and then you end up not being with them. That's too picky. It's when you overanalyze situations. You overanalyze every single thing your partner does. For example, if your partner does not clean the way that you desire to clean, you don't want to be with them. You feel like you can't spend your life with them because they're not doing something how you desire it to be done. I mean, as long as it's getting done, what does it matter how they're doing it? Too picky is also when your expectations are unrealistic. So what are you expecting from a relationship? Obviously, you know, it's important to expect respect. It's important to expect honor and loyalty, and you know, all of those things are realistic expectations. But unrealistic expectations, what are you expecting? Not to have arguments? Are you expecting this person to agree with everything you say? No. Think about your expectations and if they are realistic for a healthy relationship. Too picky is also when you are looking for perfection, right? So every box needs to be checked off. Let me tell you right here and now. Everybody, your soulmate, the person that's meant for you, they will not check off every single box, right? Because that would mean, I always say this, that there is a perfect person out there and nobody is perfect. You have to find areas that are really, really significant and be lenient in the other ones that are kind of minimal or low. You know, you have to really think about what is really, really significant to you. And it shouldn't be looks, it shouldn't be cars, it shouldn't be anything, you know, that can come and go. It should be like characteristic traits. It should be loyalty. It should be their integrity. That's the things that you should be looking for in a person that sustain you. Anything else is just an added bonus. Too picky is not also, it's not just over analyzing things. It's also when you nitpick the little things, the small things bother you. So if you know, like, for example, the way somebody chews, or the way somebody, you know, sometimes the way somebody can laugh, you know, the little things. I don't like this. And believe it or not, I have seen single individuals get upset by the way that somebody does something so minimal as chewing, or as the way they walk, or as the way they clean up, or the way they do minimal things. Here's the thing I want you to understand. There's a difference between settling and being too picky. And I don't want you to confuse settling with being too picky. As I said before, find 3 good qualities, main qualities that are really, really significant to you. Like being loyal. You know, you want somebody that's going to be loyal to you. You want somebody that's going to respect you. Okay. Find 3 qualities that are really, really significant and then base your relationship off of that. Understand that every box won't be checked, every need won't be met. However, as long as this person is satisfying the important things to me, those top 3 things, then everything else can be worked out. Everything else can kind of be, you can coach your partner. I was just telling somebody the other day, we are constantly getting coached by our significant other. Just like we're coaching them, we are constantly getting coached by them as well. So sometimes you're going to have to teach this person how to do certain things or how to be a certain way, and that's okay to do. You're not going to find anybody that's always an already put together, 100% put together. When it comes to settling is accepting anything. It's accepting disrespect. It's accepting being abused because you just want to be in a relationship or you feel like nobody else is going to love you. Being too picky is nitpicking everything and things that, like I said in the beginning, are unrealistic. When it comes to understanding settling and being too picky, you have to find a common medium. And please take my suggestion in making sure that you identify what 3 things are important when it comes to a person. Don't include looks, don't include money. What 3 things are important? And I guarantee you that you will start finding quality people. You might not find the perfect person, but you will find a quality person and you will be able to work with them. Okay, so why are people too picky? I have broken this down into 3 sections: the predisposed, the disposed, and the post-disposed. And this is pretty much broken down in by how we were raised and the things that we have experienced during the duration of our life. So the predisposed is the person, the privileged child, the child that grew up expecting that they are supposed to get everything that they want. They want what they want, when they want it, and how they want it. Even when it comes to relationships, it does not matter. They are looking for perfection because that's how they grew up. They grew up with that silver spoon. They grew up in that high class area. They grew up going to private schools and getting everything that they wanted in life. And there are people out there that are like that, and they carry that over into their relationship, expecting perfection. These people end up being too picky in their lives. Then you have the disposed. So the disposed is somebody who is a little bit older, right? They may have been single for a period of time. They may have been not had, really good relationships for a time. So they've been either single for a long time or they're single here and there. These types of people just might not know the composition of a relationship. And what I mean by the composition of a relationship is, how is a relationship made up? What are the things that you need to show, the things that you are due? Naturally, when you're single, you don't have to compromise with anybody. You do what you want to do when you want to do it. So you don't have to have patience when it comes to certain things, right? Because in a relationship, patience is a lot different than it is with yourself. It's the same concept, but it is a whole lot different when it comes to dealing with another person. Don't get it twisted and don't let nobody confuse you and trick you into believing it's not. However, when you've been single for a period of time, you don't understand. So you might be a little bit more picky in situations because you don't understand. Hey, I need to back down because this is not how a relationship is run. I can't run my relationship how I ran my single life. I can't run my relationship or think about relationships how I think about singlehood. And so that's why people that have been single for a long time and people that are, in and out of, dating, they are too picky, is because they don't understand. I need to give a little bit more. And then we have the post-disposed. So these people have been in relationships before. They are maybe had long tenured relationships. However, they've been burned. So what happens is they group men and women into these categories and they become too picky. This is where you get your type. This is where you get your list from, and you need to have every box in that list checked off. That will have you single for the rest of your life. And I think these people should be the most, or at least the least sensitive when it comes to being too picky, because you understand how relationships go. You understand that I'm going to have to give a little bit more to receive a little bit more. You understand that I'm going to have to manage my relationship a little bit different than I did when I was single. So these people being too picky, it happens because naturally we want what we want, when we want it, like I said, and how we want it. So we're not really thinking about long term. We're not really thinking about how we can better the relationship, how we can better ourselves, what we can do differently instead of nitpicking and choosing and expecting so much from another person. So remember, you have the predisposed. You grew up thinking that you deserve it all, entitlement. You have the disposed, meaning you have been in relationships or you have been single for a long period of time. However, you don't understand the composition of relationships, so you don't really have knowledge on how a relationship is run. And then you have the post-disposed, where you have been burned. And so now you are super duper picky because you know what you don't want. You are looking at everything that this other person did instead of focusing on everything that this new person is. Okay, guys, we're gonna talk about 10 things that will happen to you if you decide to remain picky when it comes to relationships. So pay attention to these because I don't want these to happen to you. And I'll talk a little bit about each of them, just a little bit, because I don't want to extend the video past a certain amount of time. The first thing that I want to talk about is loneliness. If you keep nitpicking everything, you will spend the rest of your time alone. There is something wrong with all of us, whether we want to admit it or not. No matter how well you think you are and how great and wonderful I'm sure you are, but there is something wrong with you too. If you continue to pick and nitpick and overanalyze certain things, you will spend the rest of your time alone because you'll be overanalyzing every relationship and you'll find something wrong with every relationship, and then you'll be alone because every relationship will not work for you. Then the second thing that may happen to you, you may become bitter. So this is where you see other women in happy relationships. You see other women satisfied with their significant other. And it's not that their significant other is perfect. It's just that they have chosen, again, their top 3 things that are important and then decided to work with the person when it comes with the other stuff. You know, show patience, show compassion to the things that are not the greatest, that are not the best about a person. So you don't want to be the type that ends up bitter because your best friend is happy. You don't want to be the type that ends up bitter because your homegirls can't go out because they want to spend time with their husband, or, you know, your homeboys want to spend time with his wife. Also, when it comes to being too picky, you will end up leaving yourself open to come across as arrogant. So you know that stuck up type, that person that comes in the room and they think they're the boss and they think they got it going on. That's how you will come across to people. And you won't have to worry about finding the right person because nobody want to find you if you start coming across arrogant and nitpicking and coming down on people and telling them what they need to do and what they need to change, and not realizing what you need to do and you need to change.
I'll keep saying this over and over again.
You are not all that. You are great. You are fabulous. But you are not all that. I'm not all that. My husband is not all that. Nobody is all of that. We are all great in our respective ways, but we all have things that we can be working on and that we can change. Being too picky will also leave you in disappointment. So if you're constantly building your expectations up, right? You know, you're telling this person, or you're expecting so much from this person. When you expect a lot from people, you better be prepared to have them disappoint you, because everybody is, you know, we're not Christ. We don't have it all down pat. We are all flawed. We are all with some type of blemish. And so when you build that expectation up, you're only building it up to get let down. So you leave yourself prone to disappointment. If you're putting all your hope into this one person and expecting this one person to be your end all be all, they're going to disappoint you at some point. I'm sure I've disappointed my husband at some point. I'm sure he's disappointed me at some point. Everybody is not going to show up how you expect them to show up. Mother, father, grandparents, they're all, if you really dig in their past, now you may think you have the perfect parents and they did nothing wrong, but you dig back in that past, you'll be a little disappointed by some stuff they did too. Now, being too picky will also make you come across bossy. When you start being too picky, you come across as telling people what they need to do, how they need to do it, when they need to do it, why they need to do it. And nobody wants a bossy partner. People want a partner that's going to work with them together, that's going to advise, give guidance, not boss around, not make them feel like a child, not make them feel like they are less than. And when you are picky, you come across as a bossy person. You come across as a micromanager. I need you to be like this. I need you to be how I want you to be.
That's bossy.
Now, hear me when I say this. Being clingy is a side effect of being too picky, because when you think you found the right person, you found this person that is you're going to love forever, and you're going to be with, and you're going to start a family with, and you're going to do all these great things with, you become so clingy to them because this is not what you're used to. Maybe you've had a bad relationship or two. You become clingy. You become attached to this person, whether it's emotionally attached or physically attached, whatever the case may be. You become so attached to this person that they become your prized possession. They become your end all be all. They become this person that they're really not. Being too picky also presents competitiveness. And here's the thing, too picky will also start to make you feel like you're better than this person. So like I was saying earlier, when you are picky, you're not looking at everything that you need to change. You're only looking at what this person is not doing. And that is not a good way to be, because you have things that you need to change. You have things that you need to work on. And if you're focusing on what this person isn't, you're not really applying your lessons that you need to learn and changes and adjustments that you need to make to become the best you, so you can be better in the relationship. Hope you understand what I'm saying by that. You also become narrow-minded. So being too picky will make you intolerant. It will make you not see another person's perspective. It will not make you see their views, which means you will lack compassion. And compassion, understanding, whatever you want to call it, is a must in a relationship, because like I said, this person will not be like you. This person will not think like you. So you are accountable for your actions and saying, hey, I'm going to work with you. I'm going to choose to understand you. I'm not going to choose to reject you. Even though I may not agree with you, I'm going to choose to understand your thought process. I'm going to choose to understand how you intake information, how you receive information, how you process that information, so we can learn each other, so we can learn how to work together and move forward in our relationship. Also, being too picky can have you come across very aggressive. When you think of aggression, you think of somebody that's going to attack, somebody that likes confrontation. And when you're too picky, and I'm talking about really, really picky people, you're going to be more prone to starting arguments and fights, because you want what you want when you want it. And if that partner is not doing it how you want it done, when you want it done, why you want it done, you're going to have an issue. And so you're going to be confrontational, and you're going to start fights, and because you're going to want to have your way. You're going to want to get what you want out of the relationship. And then last but certainly not least, number 10, when you're too picky, you come off as impatient. And people say that communication is the number one thing that you need, a component that you need in your relationship, and it most definitely is. But a close second is patience. Let me tell you, patience is something that it does not just come overnight. It is something that you practice every single day. I don't think I think some people are pretty good with patience, but I don't think anybody is 100% in the area of patience. Because the thing is, we all blow up at some point. Something is going to make our blood boil to make us go, I'm going to wring your neck, or it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be with your partner. It could just be with anything. And when you become too picky in your relationships, you lack the patience to deal with this person's mistakes, to deal with this person's flaws, to deal with this person's insecurities, to deal with this person's rejections, childhood traumas they may have faced. You are impatient. And that's ultimately what being too picky means. It means you are not patient enough to work through the humps and bumps of relationships. And if you are too picky, to me, you are not ready for a relationship. You are not ready to get into this huge commitment, because we can't be too picky. Sure, you can want what you want. I get that. I get that. But when you start nitpicking every single thing this person does, how they do it, anything like that, that becomes a problem. And if you ever find yourself in relationship after relationship and it's not working, at some point you have to take a look in the mirror and identify, what can I do differently? How can I think differently? How can I act differently? What can I say to this person? How can I come across to this person? At some point, you have to start identifying what you can do differently or how you can be different. Not change your personality, but, and again, we all have some personality changes that we can make. But what I mean by that is change for the better, and change because, not because you were forced to, because you have a desire to. So I actually just gave my end thoughts without announcing my end thoughts. But those are my final thoughts when it comes to being too picky in your relationship. It ultimately leads to destruction. It ultimately leads to you not having a good self-esteem, because then also too, what I didn't mention is you start to wonder, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with yourself? And I'm not saying that you should look in the mirror and ask what's wrong with you. What I'm saying is you should always look in the mirror and think about, what can you do to adjust? What can you do to make changes? What can you do to work on yourself? Because we should all be looking in the mirror and saying,
Angie, you can do better in this area.
You know, you can give yourself positive affirmations and still work on the negative components of you. And so I don't want you to think, you know, when I'm talking about being too picky, I don't want you to get any misconstrue anything that I'm saying with that, but you should always be identifying what it is that you need to work on, why you need to work on it, what it will do for your relationships, not just for your significant other, but for other people as well. Your relationship with your mother, your father, or your grandparents, or your siblings, whatever the case may be. You should always be looking at yourself to say, hey, let me check myself, let me become better so I can be better for other people. Thank you guys all so much for tuning into this video. If you like what you saw, please give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I hope to see you somewhere down the line with Love Inspiry LLC. September 30th, 2020, we have a workshop live on Facebook. It's free of charge. Come join us at 7 p.m. where I will be discussing the #1 secret to a healthy relationship. I'll see you guys all this Sunday in the Breakover series. Have a blessed day.